The movie begins with Renée watching her daughter and the school dance team as they practice. And because Renée once dreamed of being on a dance team herself, she imagines that she's the one out there rehearsing with them. After practice ends, she claps for them and tells them they're definitely going to win next month's competition. Her daughter then says, "Let's go, Mom." On the way home, she suddenly tells her mother she's quitting the team. Once they're back at the house, Renée asks her at least to explain why she's leaving after all the effort she put in. Cherie, her daughter, says she's quitting because she's tired of her mother interfering in her life, hanging out with her friends and always tagging along as if she were still a little kid. "You always make decisions for me and speak on my behalf. Mom, I'm already 18. Renée replies that she sacrificed her whole life to secure her daughter's future and to make sure she didn't make mistakes she'd regret later. "You can't just quit the dance team." But Cherie insists, "I'm 18 now. You can't force me to do anything against my will." Renée says, "I can, as long as you live in my house." So Cherie fires back, "Well, I didn't tell you. I'm moving in with Dad. I'll leave you the house so you can roam it however you want. I'm also transferring to a school near his place. Starting fresh, maybe I'll finally find a comfortable life." Renée tells her she doesn't understand that high school is a very special time, and once it's gone, she won't be able to get it back. Cherie snaps, "And how would you know it's special when you never even lived it yourself, Mom?" When her father comes to pick her up, Renée says to him, "Of course you're happy now, since you're the hero dad and I'm the evil mom, right?" He answers, "All I want is for my daughter to be happy, whether she's with me or with you. It doesn't matter." As Cherie gathers her last things, Renée grabs her phone out of her pocket and says, "Let your dad buy you one with his money." Renée storms into her room, furious, throwing everything around. Her phone rings, and it turns out to be a call from a talent scout who discovers dancers. The woman tells her she'll be attending the upcoming dance competition to watch her, and if things go well, she'll sign her to a contract and secure her a full scholarship. Renée called her ex-husband and told him to put Cherie on the phone because she needed to talk to her about something important, but he told her Cherie didn't want to speak with her. When Cherie got to her room at her dad's place, she told him she didn't want her mom to know her new number. He said that wasn't a good idea, but Cherie insisted she just needed some time and that she'd call her mother herself when she was ready. Later, Renée went to see her daughter's old dance team. One of the girls said, "For a second I thought you were Cherie, ma'am." Before leaving, Renée asked her, "Did you really think I was Cherie?" And the girl replied, "For a split second, yeah." That's when Renée got a wild idea. She went back home, tried on her daughter's clothes, practiced mimicking her voice, and then actually enrolled in another school under her daughter's name, determined to join their dance team. She went to the principal's office to get her class schedule. He handed it to her and said he'd need a parent or guardian to bring proof of residence. Renée told him her mom and dad worked far away and might be back midweek. He said fine, but he'd meet them with the paperwork once they returned. On her first day in class, Ramsey, the edgy guy, immediately locked eyes on her. She looked behind and noticed a pretty black girl wearing the school's dance team logo. After class, she asked her if there were tryouts to join the team. Tanya told her the tryouts had been months ago. Ms. Jenkins then handed her a textbook and said, "We have a test in 2 weeks, so I hope you can get yourself ready in time." Later, Renée approached Tanya while she was having lunch with 2 of her dance teammates, Randa, dressed in a black dress, and Julia. Both of them laughed at the idea of her joining the team, saying their team was already full. Renée showed them a video of her daughter's team practicing, and Randa said, "Isn't that the team we beat last year?" Renée answered, "That's the one." Randa shot back, "Well, we don't take leftovers from them." Renée insisted, "I wasn't kicked off the team. I transferred schools. That's why I couldn't stay with them. Anyway, if there are ever new tryouts or any chance at all, I'd really appreciate it if you'd let me know." Renée grew frustrated with Julia for mocking her, and to secure herself a spot on the dance team, she came up with a plan. Disguised in a white hoodie and glasses, she shoved Julia down the stairs. Randa assumed Julia had fallen because she was always glued to her phone. Playing innocent, Renée walked over and asked what happened, and Tanya told her Julia had fallen from the stairs, suffered a concussion, and cracked a few ribs. "Looks like it's your lucky day," Tanya added. "We're holding tryouts to replace her on the team." During the audition, Renée performed far better than the others, and she knew they'd accept her. Later, when her sister visited her at home, she was shocked at Renée's appearance and asked what on earth she'd done to herself. She also said, "I've been trying to call Cherie, but her phone's completely dead." Renée answered that Cherie had moved in with her dad and she didn't know her new number. Right then, Renée received a message confirming she'd been accepted onto the school's dance team. Her sister grew suspicious of her look, her bag, and the whole story. Renée quickly covered, saying it was part of a new program at her company, and asked her sister to leave leave because she was too busy to talk. The next day, Renee brought a cake to Miss Jenkins and told her it was from her mom. Miss Jenkins thanked her for the effort, but explained she couldn't take it because she was allergic to peanuts. She also gave her another warning. I don't allow gum in my class. Renee tossed the cake and gum into the trash. After class, Ramsey came up to introduce himself, but she brushed him off, saying, "Sorry, baby, I don't date underage boys." He told her he was 19 and about to start college. She smirked and said, "Well, in that case, take my number now." While training with Tanya, Randa barged in and snapped, "Focus on your practice. I'm not losing this competition because of you. And by the way, do something about those wrinkles and that dry skin. This isn't a grandma team, lady." Tanya told Randa she didn't need to talk to her like that, but Randa snapped back that it was just the truth, and the truth always hurts. Later, Tanya went to Renee's car and told her not to take Randa's words to heart. She was always impulsive. "Anyway, I'm throwing a party at my house. Come by if you want. You're more than welcome." Meanwhile, Cherie was telling her aunt that she actually missed her mom, even though living with her had always felt suffocating. She admitted she was scared her mom might follow her to college and move into the dorm with her, since she was always trailing her everywhere. Her aunt asked if she'd thought about calling her with her new number, and Cherie said she had thought about it, but was still hesitant. Her aunt advised her to look for a local dance program where she could make new friends and not feel so alone. Back at practice, Randa's routine wasn't working, but Renee adjusted it, and her approach smoothed out the move and made it work. That, of course, only fueled more resentment and jealousy between them. Randa asked, "If you're so talented, why did your old team let you go?" Renee shot back, "Like I told you, I transferred to this school. Nobody kicked me off my old team, and I'm not here to get into your drama. I'm here to dance, win a free scholarship, and move on." On her way out of the gym, she bumped into Patrick, the school's athletic director, who seemed surprised to see her as one of the students. That night at the party, Randa asked her if something was going on between her and Ramsey. Renee said she didn't know yet what their relationship would turn into. She then learned from Tanya that Ramsey had broken up with Randa only 2 months earlier. Bored with the party, Renee called Ramsey and invited him over to her house. While there, he picked up a photo of her with her daughter and asked who it was. She told him it was her cousin. From their conversation, she also realized that Patrick, the athletic director, was actually Ramsey's father. Things heated up quickly between Renee and Ramsey as they grew closer, but suddenly Renee's sister walked in. She demanded to know who he was, and Renee brushed it off, saying he was just a coworker. Ramsey bolted out of the house. Her sister warned her, "You're going to ruin your life, Renee. He's underage." Renee snapped back, "Mind your own business." Her sister then told her, "Your daughter's school keeps sending me paperwork and notices. Maybe you should check why they haven't officially recorded her withdrawal yet." Renee snatched the papers from her and said, "Next time you want to come over, at least call first. This isn't a barn, you know." The next day, while she was having breakfast with Tanya, Randa came over and asked to see a video of her old team. She zoomed in on Cherie and grew suspicious, thinking the girl in the video didn't look like the one standing in front of them. Renee quickly grabbed the phone back and made an excuse to leave. Randa muttered to Tanya, "Something's off about this girl calling herself Cherry, and I won't stop until I find out what it is." Tanya just rolled her eyes and said, "You really need to stop listening to all those true crime podcasts. They've fried your brain." Later, Randa watched bitterly as Renee hung out with Ramsey. She followed her all the way home, where she overheard Cherie saying to her mom, "Why are you dressed like that?" Renee casually replied, "Just trying out a new look," before spotting Randa's car parked nearby. Randa panicked and drove off. Renee turned back to her daughter and asked, "What are you doing here?" Cherie explained she'd come to grab some things she'd forgotten, but when she checked her room, her dance clothes were gone. She asked her mom where they were, and Renee told her she figured she was done with dancing, so she donated them to charity. Cherie was furious. "Just because I was gone for 2 weeks doesn't give you the right to touch my stuff, Mom." Renee shot back, "Maybe you should have called or talked to me so I'd know what you were thinking." Cherie's voice cracked as she answered, "The only thing I need from you is to leave my things alone." She grabbed her stuff and stormed out. Dark thoughts began to take over, and Renee slipped a drug pill into a small bag. After class, she confronted Randa and sneered, "What were you doing near my house, kitty?" Randa shot back, "What house was that? And who was it that called you Mom?" Renee quickly covered, saying, "That's my grandmother's house, and the girl you saw is my cousin. She helps me take care of my grandma since she's sick." She then leaned in close to Randa and warned, "Get me out of your head before I turn your life into hell," slipping the pill into Randa's bag without her noticing. Later, in the principal's office, Patrick told her, "I know know you've been seeing my son Ramsey lately, but I need you to stay away from him. He's got a bright future ahead of him, built on the hard work he's putting in right now." Renee replied, "I understand what you're saying. I'm waiting for an opportunity myself, one that could change my life for the better. I don't have time for love or relationships." The principal then pressed, "It's midweek already, and I still haven't seen anyone from your family. When exactly are they coming in?" Renee improvised. "They were supposed to come today, but something came up with work. I really miss them so much," and even broke into fake tears. Wanting to get rid of her, the principal said, "Fine, have your mother come see me next week then." Renee later told Ramsey about his father's warning, and Ramsey apologized to her. At the next team practice, Renee challenged Randa to lead the group dance. Randa said, "That takes months of training." Renee smirked. "Maybe for someone like you. For me, 2 weeks is more than enough." She then performed the same routine Randa had done, but with sharper technique and better precision. Even so, when the girls voted, they chose Randa to be team leader for the competition. At that moment, the principal walked in and told Randa to hand over her bag. He pulled out the packet of pills and asked, "Do you have a prescription for this medication?" Randa, shocked, insisted she had no idea how it even got into her bag. He told her, "You're suspended for a week. Now come with me so we can find out exactly what this drug is." The next day, Randa confronted Renee and said, "I know you're the one behind what happened. Enjoy the dance team all by yourself." Renee's bigger problem came when Miss Jenkins told her, "Your grades, frankly, aren't good enough. I have to suspend your academic activity." Renee asked, "What do you mean by academic activity?" Miss Jenkins clarified, "It means you're out of the dance team as long as it's affecting your academic performance." Renee begged her to reconsider, or at least let her retake the test without being kicked off the team, but Miss Jenkins stood firm. Later, Renee sat with Tonya, who told her, "You need to fix things with Randa and bring her back to the team." Renee asked how, and Tonya replied, "An apology, whatever it takes. We don't have time to find anyone else." The next day at school, Renee went to Randa and told her she was talented, that talent scouts would be watching the competition, and added, "If you're upset about Ramsey, I can text him right now. It's over, baby." Randa responded, "Forget it. I'm not a bad person wishing harm on others. All I want is to win the competition." Renee then told her, "You'll rejoin the team, and you'll take the lead dance in the competition." Randa agreed. Meanwhile, the principal called Renee, thinking she was Cherry's mother, and asked for the residency paperwork. She told him she had it, but would be late that day. "I can make a copy and bring it to your office first thing tomorrow," she offered. He said that was fine. Back home, she forged a property deed and made a copy. She tried to sneak it into his office, but unfortunately he walked in on her. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. She quickly said she was dropping off the residency papers. He replied, "In that case, I need your mother to come sign some important documents. Please go fetch her right away." She stammered, "Can't she just sign it online?" But he insisted, "No, run and get your mother immediately." Renee rushed to her car, changed clothes, cut her hair, put on glasses, and went back to the principal's office. When he handed her a document to sign, she signed it under Cherry's name, which made him suspicious, especially when he noticed she was carrying the exact same bag. Once she realized he had figured her out, she bolted, jumped into her car, and sped off. But trouble never comes alone. On her way out, she hit the principal with her car and fled the scene. Later, she met up with Ramsey and asked, "You'll be there to watch me at the competition, right?" He smiled and said, "If I don't come for you, then who else would I come for?" Miss Jenkins interrupted them harshly, saying, "This kind of rudeness doesn't belong in school. Take it outside, animals." Renee turned to Ramsey and asked, "What's wrong with her?" He shrugged. "I don't know, but people say she's dealing with a lot of issues and it's affecting her mental state." In class, Miss Jenkins announced that today's session was canceled because the school security had reported the principal's life had ended in a hit-and-run accident. The shameless Renee turned to Tanya and said, "Who do you think could be so cruel to do that to such a kind man?" That evening, Tanya went home, but Ramsey called her on speakerphone. He said the school had informed the police there were surveillance cameras in the area where the principal was killed. The moment Renee heard surveillance cameras, her stomach dropped and her knees buckled. Back at home, she went into the kitchen, plotting a way to get rid of Ms. Jenkins too. The next day, Renee arrived at class early and waited for Ms. Jenkins. When she came in, Renee said, "For home ec, they asked me to make cupcakes and have you taste them. Don't worry, there are no peanuts inside." Ms. Jenkins smiled. "Well, in that case, let's try one." The moment she took a bite, she realized the center was filled with peanuts, and she began choking. As she reached for her allergy medication, Renee snatched it and threw it away. Jenkins crawled desperately across the floor trying to get it, but Renee kicked it farther out of reach until Ms. Jenkins collapsed and lost consciousness. Renee sat at Miss Jenkins's desk and changed her grade so she'd be eligible to stay on the dance team and compete. Then she called the classroom phone, pretending to be panicked and begging for help before casually popping a stick of gum into her mouth and tearing down the no gum notice Miss Jenkins had posted. In the bathroom, Tonya told her that Miss Jenkins had suffered a severe allergic reaction and her life had nearly ended, and they were rushing her to the hospital. Renee's lack of concern or emotion made Tonya suspicious of her reaction. That night, while Renee was doing wrinkle masks to brighten her skin, she got a shocking message from Tonya. Ms. Jenkins had survived and was being treated at the hospital. This meant everything Renee had done was about to be exposed to the entire school. On the day of the competition, Renee was stunned to see her sister and daughter show up, there to cheer for Cherie's old team. If they saw her, her cover would be blown in front of the whole crowd. She told her team she was going to the bathroom, then texted her sister to meet her outside urgently, knowing exactly where they were sitting. When her sister stepped out, Renee struck her on the head, knocking her unconscious, dragged her into a room, and locked her inside. She then used her sister's phone to send Cherie a message claiming their father had been in an accident and was at the hospital, just to lure them away from the auditorium before her team performed. Meanwhile, Patrick, Ramsey's father, received a message saying the car that had hit the principal matched the description of Renee's vehicle. He rushed out of the auditorium with Ramsey to investigate. Back on stage, Randa, after rallying the team, told Renee to take the lead dance so she could finally claim the scholarship she'd been dreaming about. Renee, overwhelmed with emotion after years of longing for this moment, stepped forward and began the performance. At the same time, Cherie, Patrick, and Ramsey heard Renee's sister screaming for help from inside the locked room. She told them Renee was the one who hit her on the head and locked her in the room. Ramsey looked confused and said, "Wait a second, aren't you her cousin?" She snapped back, "Cousin? That's her mom." He stammered, "Hold up. So I was in love with a 30-something mom sneaking around for a secret relationship? I can't even process this." Renee's sister added, "I saw you with her at the house before, remember?" Patrick then pieced it together. "That means your mother enrolled under your name just to get on the school's dance team. I'd bet she's the one who killed the principal, and she tried to finish off Miss Jenkins too." They all rushed into the auditorium, where Renee's team was performing with her as the undisputed star. After the routine ended, Cherie confronted her. "So you went ahead and did it, Mom? You performed in the competition under my name?" When the talent scout stepped forward to congratulate Renee, she realized Renee had faked her identity as a high school student. "Say goodbye to that scholarship, baby, because you'll never touch it as long as I'm alive," she said. The announcer then declared Renee's team the winners, and they stepped up to accept the trophy, while Renee basked in the moment. Patrick came forward and told her the police wanted a word. Renee tried to explain, "I just wanted to help my daughter get a scholarship," but Cherie cut her off. "No, Mom, everything you did was for yourself, not for me." Renee fired back, "Whatever, you all saw it. No matter my age, I deserve opportunities like yours, and I'm better than all of you at dancing. If I hadn't wasted my life protecting my daughter, I'd be somewhere else entirely." The police then arrested her, and the film closed with the scholarship and prize being awarded to Cherie's old team after Renee's deceit and fraud were exposed. That's where today's recap ends.